Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So every fall I take a little road trip to celebrate my birthday. So I was recently planning one for September, and it made me think of all these horror movies I love so much that take place during a road trip. So today we're going to be discussing my top 10 favorite horror movies that are road trips gone horribly wrong. I'll be right back. So when making this list, there was so many movies that came up. It was really hard to pick just 10. I really had to sit down and think. But number 10 on my list is Joyride. Joyride was released October 5th, 2001. It's starring Paul Walker, rest in peace. This is one of my favorites. It's just hard not to love this film. I recently was watching it. I put it on before bed. And it's such a great mix of like humor and suspense. And it's one of those films that just never gets old. It's from 2001 and it just has aged amazingly. Like I recently watched it, like I said, and it felt like I was watching it for the first time. You're laughing, you're afraid for them. It just takes a turn that you did not see coming. Like I expected it to be a lighter movie, but like shit hit the fan really fast, and it's just such a great movie. And it really teaches you a lesson. Don't prank people. You never know who you're dealing with on the other end. And for all you Supernatural fans, Bobby from Supernatural actually has a small little role in this movie. Number 9 on my list is also from 2001. It's Jeepers Creepers. This was released August 31st, 2001. It's starring Justin Long. I love this movie. I love the second one too. There's just such a good pair. The first time I saw this, I saw it in the theater, and that ending will stick with me for the rest of my life. It will just haunt me. Hearing those screams is just bone chilling. It is, slow at times, but it's fun. It's just, I could think about being on a little road trip with my brother and experiencing that, them bickering back and forth and having their games, but that they have such a good relationship. And of course the creeper comes and he is no joke. He flies, he eats human beings. Like he's just everything scary. He's one of the scariest horror movie monsters in my opinion. And the second one to me is just as good as the first one. Number 8 on my list is Children of the Corn. Now this movie was released March 9th, 1984. That was the year I was born. It's starring Linda Hamilton. Now it's just a couple on a road trip. I think the boyfriend got a new job, so they are going there. They hit a child, or they think they hit a child, and then it just goes completely down. Like they run into the spookiest and the creepiest children you could imagine. This movie is creepy, it is dark, it is scary. It is still, like to this day, if I see a cornfield, I just drive past. I am not like stopping, I'm not going near it. I just like, book it, going to wherever I need to go. It just sticks with you, this movie. It is such a great film. Linda Hamilton had a really great year in 1984. For all you Terminator fans, both these movies came out at the same time. Just such a great year for films. Children of the Corn, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch this movie. It is probably one of the biggest road trips gone bad movies ever, ever. I didn't really care for the sequels. I don't know. I never got into them. Number 7 on my list is The Hitcher. Now this is starring C. Thomas Howell. It was released February 21st, 1986. Okay, yeah. This is just one of the scariest movies to me. Because it's just so real. Like one, I wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker. But in the 80s, it was common. You pick this man up and he doesn't have superpowers or anything. He's not a monster, even though he is a monster. He's not technically a monster. He's not supernatural, but he just is just so terrifying. Like the things he does to this kid, like he kills that poor family. He's just a nightmare, like from start to finish. It is one of those films that you watch and you're just like, okay, Lesson learned, not picking up that guy, not picking up strangers, not talking to strangers. Bone chilling, this film. The remake I did like. Of course, it's not as good as the original, but there's one scene in these movies that are just like the bus scene. Yeah. Pretty horrific. Did not expect that to happen the first time I saw it. I'm like, oh, he's gonna save the girl. She's not going. No, he doesn't save her. It's pretty horrible. Yeah. And they do have the same scene in the sequel. It's just like the other way around. It's the man getting ripped apart. Number 6 on my list is Wrong Turn. Now, this was released May 30th, 2003. It's starring Eliza Dushku. I love her. Faith from Buffy, big Buffy fan. So this is a group of friends. They are on a road trip. They have car issues. Another car hits them by accident. They're stuck in the middle of the woods dealing with like the Hills Have Eyes people. Yeah, it's pretty graphic. It's pretty brutal, bloody, gory, amazing. Love this movie. It's from 2003, but it doesn't feel that way when you watch it now. It's just such a great film. It's the Hills Have Eyes. Pretty much the same concept. It's like these people, they're inbred. They've lived in these woods for years and years and years. They are just like all relatives, having kids and just terrorizing people, stealing their stuff. It's just, the list goes on. And yeah, not too many people survive. It's one of those movies, but it's amazing. There was a few sequels after this movie. The newest one was pretty good. It was completely different from the original, but it was still a really good movie. Number 5 on my list is House of Wax. This was released April 26, 2005. It is starring Jared Padalecki, Paris Hilton, Elisha Cuthbert. Like, this is a really, back in the day, this is a big star cast. Like, all these people were like One Tree Hill, like, and Big Gilmore Girls, like bigger shows in the 2000s. And of course, Paris Hilton. It's a remake. The original I like, but I really love this one. It is just a group of friends. They're going on a road trip. They're going to like a sporting event. They stop overnight to camp in this area, and, you know, wrong place, wrong time. This guy shows up and, you know, kind of like just glaring his lights at them. They're like, you know, get the heck out of here. He leaves. They wake up in the morning and they have car issues. I wonder what happened. I wonder why they have car issues. Obviously, the guy came back and did something to the car. Then they go to this town. Well, 2 of them start to go to the town while the other ones go to the game. And everything is made out of wax. It's like an abandoned town. And it's creepy and it's gory, this movie. And it is amazing. It's amazing. I just loved it. I remember the first time I saw it when I was in the theater. And you just think it's like you could be with your friends going on a road trip, maybe a little less douchey. And you go to this town and everything is wax. And it is so scary and it's so creepy and it's so much fun. Yeah, love this film. I will always love this film. If you haven't seen this one, check this one out and check out the original as well. Number 4 on my list is The Descent. This was released August 4th, 2006. It's about a group of friends that go to North Carolina, I'm pretty sure, after a year after their friend Sarah had this horrific thing happen. Her husband and her daughter both killed in a car accident. So they're going to check out some caves. They find some strange drawings on the caves that proves somebody's been there before. And yeah, they're definitely not alone. There's creatures down there. No, don't go into caves. Don't go into dark caves that you think have never been explored. You're not going to find anything good there. This is an extremely dark, gory, bloody film. The death scenes are crazy. There's some scenes in it that's like real, like not just like dark as in like bad dark, but like dark, like you can't really see because they're in caves. But it is just extremely bloody and amazing. And the second film is just as good. It literally takes place right after the first one. Yes. Oh yes, there will be blood. Lots of blood. Such a great road trip film. Who doesn't love a monster movie, right? Number 3 on my list is From Dusk Till Dawn. This was released January 19th, 1996. I can't believe this is from 1996. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like an older movie like that. It is about a family. They are on a road trip and they run into George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, who are brothers, are also bank robbers. Quentin Tarantino is a little weird and off. He looks to assault and kill women. So yes, they run into these men. They are basically kidnapped. They go to this club because the brothers have to meet somebody at the Titty Twister. And surprise, spoiler, pretty much everybody in this club is a vampire. And it's not like sparkly vampire. It is like monster face, terrifying vampire. Yes, even Salma Hayek is a vampire. Yes, she could be gross. She's gross in this when she turns. It is just no joke. Bloody, kind of funny at times, kind of deranged and weird. But it's just a movie. There's no way you can't love this movie. You know, you just have to love it. It's just such a great film. It's timeless in my opinion. George Clooney is phenomenal. Quentin Tarantino is weird and creepy, but I know he's supposed to be that type of character, but he definitely creeps me out in this one. I love a good vampire movie. I really do, especially with George Clooney. Number 2 on my list is Final Destination 2. This was released January 31st, 2003. Another one, I can't believe it's from 2003. It doesn't feel that long ago. It's a group of friends. You know how the Final Destination movies work. They're on a road trip and she experiences a premonition that shows a car pileup. She thinks she stopped it. Her friends don't survive, and then she's basically trying to survive and help the other survivors throughout the film. They die bloody and gory. It's kind of like you just rather have died in the accident, because the way they go in this movie is just so violent. Like one kid gets like smashed with like a glass pane. Somebody gets cut in half. There's impaling. One lady gets her head stuck in an elevator. Do I need to go on? Very bloody, very gory, amazing. Yes. Just a simple road trip with your friends. You're just going on a trip. You're having fun. You're like, yes, I think they were going to Miami maybe. And yeah, shit just goes to hell like really, really fast. But it's just such a great movie. I love the Final Destination franchise. I actually did a top 10 of my favorite kills from the entire franchise. So check that out if you haven't. Number 1 on my list is Human Centipede. This was released April 30th, 2010 in New York. I'm not sure when the actual US release was, but in New York it was April 30th. Now, this is 2 American girls. They are on a road trip. They wind up with the wrong German man. They wake up and they're a part of his experiment where he wants to combine them with a Japanese man, like their intestines. Yeah, he wants to combine their intestines. So they are legit like a human centipede. Yeah, it's pretty gross, but it's so amazing at the same time. I know the Human Centipede films are really not for everybody. The second movie is not for me at all. I hate, and I'm going to say hate, the second film. The third one, it is crazy, it's gross, it's nuts, it's nuts. But I still like it. But the first one is just such a great movie. I know people were like, Carmel, like, great, it's gross. But it's not like anything else I've seen before. Like, it's just so deranged and messed up in such an amazing way, in my opinion. The way they thought of this movie is like, I think they were watching a interview, and they said something like they were saying how they wanted to do something similar to like child molesters, and they came up with the idea for this movie, which I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, Human Centipede, if you get grossed out easily, then maybe not watch it. It's pretty much the first person eats food, then when they defecate, the second person eats that, and then when they go, the third person eats that. So it's really hard for the third person to survive. It's kind of like the third person's eating like double feces. It's really, really gross. Yeah, so if you get squeamish easily, don't. But if you're like intrigued by like gross and creepy things, maybe check this one out. But yeah, that is my number one on my road trips that go horribly bad. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. Comment down below. Let me know what your favorite road trip movie is, and I will be right back.